doing Eli's?
I'm going to Eli.
You're gonna go to Eli.
You look like a winner.
Oh!
Oh! Where's the,
Ms. Halley, would you agree with that as well? Yes. Mr. Martin, did you have a further argument with respect to this?
Well, again, Your Honor, I think the issue is well briefed, and the court has obviously read the briefs. I'm grateful for the way the court is approaching this, because I had actually kind of viewed that as the primary grounds for being here today. The discovery issues I'm prepared to speak to, but I hope my colleagues who wrote the briefs will forgive me, but I really view the mootness question and the standing question. I don't believe there's a justiciable question any longer. There's nothing to go forward to trial on.
Thank you. Ms. Halley, do you have argument with respect to the mootness question?
I do, Your Honor. I understand perfectly well your ruling on the grounds of the ISO, but I don't think that addresses the lingering factual issues about the declaratory ruling and how that applies to Mr. Baker's pigs. Exhibit 2 to my brief contained photographs of pigs that are on the farm right now today. And if we applied the characteristics set out in the declaratory ruling to those pigs, they're illegal. No matter, I suppose, what breed they're supposed to be. I mean, I'm looking at pictures of pigs here, you know, that have characteristics of Russian boar. They have the characteristics, some of them, almost every single characteristic set out in the declaratory ruling. So, as a legal matter, I understand that DNR is conceding that Mr. Baker's pigs do not satisfy any of the breeds listed in the invasive species order. That's fine. But as a practical matter, I think if we leave here without getting clarification about the application of the declaratory ruling to the pigs, I'm not sure that we've really settled anything at all in the course of this case. And my client surely doesn't want to see that happen.
Well, haven't we decided that the DNR has abandoned their one-time stated claim that they're entitled to $700,000 in penalties? That was at some point of controversy in the various arguments that were made here, and that they would have to be restrained from continuing to engage in their husbandry practices with the pigs that they have. Those were all issues that were before the court when I decided the summary disposition motion. They're no longer before the court. I don't mean to argue with you, but that's the difference that we're in right now. Because there was an answer, and we've been in court for some time, and you've been in other courts on this issue by stipulation. But that's really, I think, the posture that we are all in here today is the DNR saying we don't intend to apply the ISO to Mr. Baker's current herd.
Well, and as I've said, I agree that it doesn't apply to the herd as it is today. What if Mr. Baker buys a Russian boar tomorrow? Then what? We're supposed to start all over?
Then, and if the DNR chooses to enforce that, we certainly have a right question.
But I would argue that we still have a right question. Maybe. I mean, their assertion that Russian boar is regulated by the ISO really is one of the critical issues here, and nothing in their briefing and nothing that Mr. Martin said today makes me think any differently. He did not address in any way the issue of Russian boar hybrids.
They've always asserted that, though. That's part of their pleadings. That's part of the ISO, is that Russian boar hybrids apply, and now they're telling us. And I trust, Mr. Martin, you're not contending that there aren't Russian boar hybrids on the farm.
The understanding that I have, and it's strictly off the grapevine, is that there is something like 1/7.
I'm sorry.
That the makeup of the herd is generally, I think, 1/7 Russian boar at the most.
Well-
That's what I've heard. I don't know that that's on the record. All I can tell you, Your Honor, is that the ISO, we don't believe covers the herd as it is today.
All right, thank you.
I'm not even, I apologize for going on, Your Honor. I'm not even saying that we don't intend to apply the ISO. I'm saying the ISO doesn't apply.
All right. Plaintiffs in their brief argue that there's still an issue with respect to damages. Here, the court has been provided with no law that indicates that the plaintiffs are entitled to some sort of damages as a result of the DNR's actions or their counter-complaint, or for that matter, their, for lack of a better term, 11th hour dismissal of that counter-complaint. And I can find no law that would support such a matter. I would also note that this court made a determination based on the presentation of factual support through affidavits and other documents that there was a genuine issue of material fact that existed as to the 2 remaining counts up until this dismissal. And as a result, this court finds that neither party should be entitled to cost as a result of those factual issues existing.
I guess we were looking forward towards going to trial because our reason for leveling this suit was we wanted clarification, and we wanted the people from the DNR to have to explain straight tails, curly tails. But what Harry just said was, we're not concerned with straight tails, curly tails anymore. You guys can go. So now we're going to press them to remove the declaratory ruling so it can't haunt Michigan farmers anymore. We had to go, to within 13 days of trial, and then they finally say, oh, we don't want to fight with you anymore, right? So I think it's testimony to the character of some of these people. It's not all state employees, but I think what state employees need to really do is they need to do some weeding within their own ranks and get rid of people that create havoc like this for the citizens of the state. It's our state, you know. They're just in place to make sure the bills are paid. That's about it.
What do you think of the fact that you did say it was, you know, a couple years that you guys were going through all this, and then in less than an hour, kind of, it was all said and done? I mean, what's your opinion on that?
I don't know if I can say it on TV, but I think most people would probably know what I mean. I think it's very chicken. Very chicken.
You said that this has really, you know, hurt your business, your family business. What are you guys going to do to kind of make things, bring things back to what they once were?
We just do what we do every day. Just go back to it. Continue to, you know, fight the elements, raise our animals. Our customer base has left us, and that's disheartening. The judge didn't do anything to address that, the damages that they did. Now we have to go back and convince our customers that our product is actually good and wholesome. And we'll just keep our chins up and see what comes next. Things usually work out for the best. I don't think there's any question in people's mind who's wearing the white hats and who's wearing the black hats in this. These guys were clearly in the wrong. I mean, you saw that man's behavior before the court even began. He was more concerned with, you know, some of the things that were said about him, why he couldn't make it to trial last Friday. And so it's clear the character of these people. And this is the Attorney General. This is Bill Schuette we're talking about, and he's coming up for re-election. I think people should really consider that.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Anything else you can think of, or?
I think what people need to do, what I've been forced to do through this whole ordeal, is pick up the Constitution. For goodness sakes, we memorize all kinds of things. Memorize the Bill of Rights, and you will know when someone is violating your rights if you know what the Bill of Rights are. The Fifth Amendment is clear. The Eighth Amendment is clear. My freedom of speech, which I'm doing right now, is clear. These guys leveled a $700,000 fine against my family farm, and they wanted that judge to make it happen. That's a clear violation of the Eighth Amendment. American citizens are free from excessive fines and cruel and unusual punishment, and that's exactly what the Attorney General did to me and my farm. I'm not going to let it go. That's an enemy of the Constitution of the United States.
I know another big thing, obviously you guys had a ton of support here. A lot of folks
Yeah.
are afraid that DNR could come knocking on their door and say, your cows are, you know, bad, your chickens are bad or whatever. Is that why you guys are so passionate about continuing forward, just so no
Well-
one else has to go through this?
Yeah, I don't care whether it's the DNR, DE, it doesn't matter who it is. The Fifth Amendment says, I am guaranteed the right of life, liberty, and property. If anyone wants to take that from me, they have to go through the due process of law. And for the DNR to dream up a declaratory ruling that says any pig with a straight tail or a curly tail is illegal, and oh, by the way, you're a felon if you don't kill it by next Tuesday, that's not due process of law. That's a violation of the Fifth Amendment. Bill Schuette should have been on that and said, boys, you can't do that. Nice try, but you can't do it.
Feel you can get that customer base back based on this ruling?
I can do anything I want. I can.
Right.
I don't think it's fair that they don't get taken to the woodshed. I think what they did to the American public is just wrong. Just wrong. And the fact that they were allowed to get away with it and that judge did not chastise them and tell them don't ever do that again is wrong. I'm sorry, but that's just, I feel it's wrong.